chapter. So first, let's talk about define the nature and purpose of planning.
So, I think that everyone make plans every day in your normal life or even in business. So, planning involves defining the organization's goals, establishing strategies for achieving those goals, and then developing plans to integrate and coordinate work activities. It's concerned with both ends and means. So, why do managers plan? What are the reasons that managers have to make plan? So the first reason that planning will provide directions. That means when employees know what their organizations is trying to accomplish and what they must contribute to reach goals, they can then coordinate their activities, cooperate with each other more effectively, and do what it takes to accomplish those goals. And the second reason is that planning can reduce uncertainty. That means forcing managers to look ahead, anticipate change, and then consider the impact of change, then can develop appropriate response. The third reason is that planning can minimize redundancy. That is, when work activities are coordinated around plans, inefficiencies become obvious and can be corrected or eliminated. And the last reason why managers should make plan is that planning can make a standards controlling. That means when managers plan, they develop goals, and when they control these goals, they can see whether the plans have been carried out and the goals have been met.
Now, we will classify the types of goals organizations might have and plans that they use.
So goals are the other name, that is objectives, are desired outcomes or target. Moreover, the goals guide management decisions and form the criteria against which work results are measured. That's why goals are often described as the important element of planning. In other words, plans are documents that outline how goals are going to be met. So now we will find out some types of goals, and the first type is financial goal. This goal related to the expected internal financial performance of the organizations. I believe that most of the company want to maximize their profits or maximize their market share to get the financial benefits. And the second type is strategic goals. This goal related to the performance of the firm relative to factors in its external environments, such as customer or competitors. And the third type, that is state goals. This goal is official statements of what an organization says and what it wants is various stakeholders to believe its goals are. So this is an example of Unilever state goal, that is sustainable living purpose, sustainable living standard, and also sustainable living products. That is, Unilever will provide sustainable living plans for customer. And the last type is real goals. These goals are what is organization actually pursue and as defined by the actions of its member. Now to move on, we will find out what is business plan and what type of business plan are. So this is the model of types of plans, and the first one is strategic plans. These plans are plans that apply to the entire organization. Now to move on, we will find out what is business plan and what types of business plan are. This is the model of types of plans. So the first one is strategic plans. These plans are that apply to the entire organizations and establish the organization goal. And the next type is operational plans. These plans encompass a particular operational area of the organizations. And the third type is long-term plans. This is a time frame beyond 3 years. And the next one is short-term plans. This plan just cover 1 year or less than 1 year. The other plan is directional plans. These plans are clearly defined and leave no room for The other plan is directional plan. This plan is flexible plan that set out general guidelines. They provide focus but don't lock measures into specific goals or course of actions. And opposite with directional plans is specific plan. These plans are clearly defined and leave no room for interpretations. A specific plan states its objectives in a way that eliminates ambiguity and problem with misunderstanding. For the single-use plans, this is the one-time plan specifically designed to meet the needs of a unique situation. And the last type of plans is standing plans. These are ongoing plans that provide guidance for activities performance repeatedly. Standing plans include policies, rules, and procedures.
I'm going to talk about part 3, approaches to setting goals. And in this part, we have 4 main points. The first one is approaches to setting goal. The second is step and goal setting. And third one is contingency factors in planning. Last but not least, approaches to planning.
And in the first part, approaches to setting goals. And in the past, traditional goal setting is an approach to setting goals in which top managers set goals and then flow down through the organization and become sub-goals for each organizational area. And in this goal setting, we have the means exchange, which is an integrated network of goals in which the accomplishment of goals at one level serves as the means for achieving the goals or ends at the next level. And this is the downside of traditional goal setting. When the top management objective said that we need to improve the company's performance, but when this statement flowed out to the organization and through the manager, each level manager thought and bias, the statement changed. Like in the division management objective, the statement already changed into I want to see a significant improvement in this division profits. And the statement continued to flow down and then end up completely different from the first statement. Like when it flow onto the end of the pyramid in the individual employee's objective, the statement already become don't worry about quality, just work fast. And that's why we have another effective approaches to setting goals is MPO and short-form management by objective is a process of setting mutual agree upon the goals and using those goals to evaluate employee performance. And this consists of a step in the MBO. We will come to the step in goal setting, and the first step is review the organization's mission or purpose. The second is evaluate available resources. The third one is determine the goal individually or with input from others. The fourth is write down the goals and communicate them to all who need to know. And the last step is review results and whether goals are being met. To have a well goal setting, we have 6 factors to mention about. Is written in terms of outcomes rather than action, measurable and quantifiable, clear as to time frame, challenging yet attainable, written down and then communicate to all necessary organizational members. Next one, we have the contingency factors in planning. We have 3 types of factors to affect the choice of plans, which are organizational level, degree of environmental uncertainty, and length of future commitments. And the picture here is showing the level of manager and also the type of planning. As we can see that the lower manager level will deal with the operational planning, while the top executives will deal with the strategic planning. And the final part is approaches to planning. We have the formal planning department, which is a group of planning specialists whose sole responsibility is to help write the organizational plans. But as we can, this formal planning department is a little bit involved to the traditional goal setting, and we can see, as we can see, I already mentioned before that this has the downside effect. So we have another way to approach to planning, which is to involve more organizational members in the process. That means each teams of the organization will sit down and communicate, talk to each other once a week, so they can help each other to solve the problem and catch up with the first plans of the organization. In part 4, we're going to talk about contemporary issues in planning. And can manager plan effectively in dynamic environments? The answer is yes, because in an uncertain environment, managers should develop plans that are specific but flexible. The plans which are specific but flexible might sound a little confused, but a plan needs to be specific, but it shouldn't be set in stone, since a dynamic environment is an environment that's always changing, so the plans better be flexible. And the manager needs to recognize that planning is an ongoing process, because the plans is like the roads which lead you to the goal that you set before, but the goals may change due to the factors of the environment. And how can managers use environmental scanning? Environmental scanning can be said to be a useful tool for manager to analyze the environment. And an environmental scanning is a screening information to detect emerging trends, and in the environmental scanning also consists of competitor intelligence, which is the process of gathering information about the competitors that allows managers to anticipate competitors' action rather than merely reacting to them. Which means you will figure about who are your competitors, what are they doing, and whether the things that they do will affect your organization.
Hello everyone, I will answer the question in case 31 in chapter 8, that is crisis planning as the line strong foundations.
First question, that is, could an organization even plan for this type of situations? If yes, how? If not, why not? Personally, I think no. An organization cannot even plan for this type of situation, mainly because this crisis happened very unexpectedly and extremely quickly. This situation happened so quickly, so management do not have enough time to plan for this crisis. The next question is, how would be useful for this type of these situations? What type of goals might be necessary? Well, I think the goal for this crisis is to distance the company from the personal causing the crisis. In this example, they are distancing themselves from the Lance Armstrong. Basically, this company had to do public relation control or something else. This company would be survive. Another goal is coming up to with foundation in order for the company to stay alive. The third question is, what type of plan will be useful to lie strong? Explain why do you think this plan would be important? The type of plan would be useful for lie strong is to distance themselves from the Lance Armstrong, keep the foundation alive, and focusing on the purpose on this foundation being formed in the first place without their founder. These plans are important because this foundation was formed for the reasons in this case study because of the million of people being affected by the cancer.
Coming to the case application 2, shifting direction, strong goals trickle down from the top managers and inspire all employees to work toward them. They also allow the company to move forward with the changes in the environment. Here are 3 goals that are very crucial for an organization. Initially, serve the need of the customer, have an environment of integrity and respect, and have a fairness in all activity of business entity, especially equal assessment on quality, productivity, and efficacy of work to make them feel welcome and successful. Plan for technology company like German needs to be proactive as the market for these devices constantly changing. Having flexibility will permit them to take technological change and focus on their effort. The executive of Germans may have a big goal which they accomplish with shifting in a whole direction, but it takes more time to transition the company system and structure to meet the future commitments. And exactly environmental uncertainty will put impacts on the business strategy so seriously. Thus, the manager must be prepared to both cope with and adopt the changes very necessarily. In my opinion, the German technological keep in mind that they are the global leaders. So many competitors trying to be rich to be in their position and open up them. They are supposed to have a planning is ongoing process to improve and stay on the top as well. and and one more thing, they must stay up to date the competitors, so that the chairman likely to anticipate what might to do next instead of being caught off guard. Just
Hello guys, in chapter 9 we are going to present managing strategy.
firstly, what is strategic management? Strategic management is what managers do to develop the organization strategies. It's involved on the basic management function: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And another term often used in the strategic management is the business model. Business model is simply defined as how the company is going to make money. It also emphasizes on two things: whether the customer value what are provided by the companies, or whether the company is likely to make the profit on doing that. For example, Jeff Bezos pioneered a new business model for online book sales instead of selling it through the bookstore chain as traditionally. Why is this important? Strategic management important due to three reasons. Initially, it makes the difference is how well the company performs. It helps the manager to deal with continually changing situation of the market, and it helps coordinate and pay employee attention to what is important. And there are 6 steps of strategic management process. Initially, identify organization current mission, goals, and strategy, doing an external analysis. Thirdly, doing an internal analysis, or commonly known as the SWOT analysis. Analysis on capability, core competency, and quality. In fourth, formulating strategies, evaluating strategy, and finally, evaluate results. In the third session, I would like to show you the definition of another terminology: corporate strategies, how many types and how it's run. The definition of the corporate strategy is what business the company is in or want to be in, or what it wants to do with those business. We can see both of these aspects with the Pepsi cars, a biggest global beverage company in the world. And for instance, the Pepsi car American beverage, or Pepsi car American foods. And here are 3 major types of corporate strategies. The role strategy: expansion of the market served, and the expansion of the product offer. The stability strategy: continue to do what is currently do. And renewal strategy means to attract declining performance, and is divided into 2 categories. Firstly, retrenchment strategy used for minor performance problems, and another one is a turnaround strategy: cut costs and restructure organizational operations. And how this run? BCG matrix is a way to analyze the portfolio of the companies, such as the company, the business market share, and its industry anticipated growth rate. Finish.
Hello everyone, I will present the learning object 4 and 5 in chapter 9. First, that is a competitive strategy.
This strategy is a strategy for how an organization will compete in its business. Next, that is competitive advantage. That is what sets an organization apart, its distinct edge. It had 3 main points. That they are quality as a competitive advantage, design thinking as a competitive advantage, and substance competitive advantage. We have 5 force model. They are threats of the entrance, how likely it does new competitors will come into the industry. Threats of substitutes. How likely is that other industries' product can be substitutes for our industry's products? Third, that is the bargaining power of buyer. How much bargaining power do buyer have? Bargaining power of the supplier. How much bargaining power do supplier have? And finally, current rivalry. How intense is the rivalry among the current industry competitors? We also have four ways to choosing competitive strategy. First, that is the cost leadership strategies. It happens when an organization compete on the basics of having the lowest cost. Next, that is the differentiation strategies. A company that compete by offering unique products that are widely valued by customers. Next, that is focus strategies. It involves cost advantage or differentiate advantage in narrow segments. Next, that is finally that is stock in the middle. When the costs are too high to compete with the low cost leader, or when its product and service are differentiate enough to compete with their counterpart. We move to the functional strategy. That is the strategy used by organization various functional departments to support the competitive strategy. And we also have the strategy leadership. It is the ability to anticipate any visions, maintain flexibility, think strategically, and work with others in the organization to intend change that will create a valuable and valuable future for the organizations. We move to the current strategy management issue. First, we have the strategic flexibility. It is ability to recognize the major external change.
So now we will move to the case study 1 of chapter 9. This case study is about Zara. This is can be the most famous fashion brand in Asia and especially in Vietnam.
So, for Zara, the initial business model was just very simple. They sell high fashion look alike to price-conscious European. Currently, Zara has become the most well-known fast fashion brand, and this company has been described as having more style than Gap, faster growth than Target, and logistical expertise rivaling than Walmart. So, more Zara factories are across the street where a clothing sample is made. And additionally, for Zara nowadays, Zara CEO said that this new facility will lay the groundwork for continued rapid expansions worldwide, and the company has finally made the jump onto online retailing. One analyst forecast that the company could quadruple sales, with a majority of that coming from online sales. So for the questions 1, strategic measurement basically involves our basic management functions like planning, organizing, leading, controlling, and all of these areas are illustrated by this case story. So strategic management is illustrated in this case story when Mr. Ortega opened his first Zara clothing store, and the business model of the company was to sell high fashion look alike to price-conscious Europeans. Moreover, strategic measurement is illustrated in this case story when Zara clothing store planned to fast fashions, which means getting design to customer quickly. And lastly, strategic measurement is when Zara employees look at the computers to scrutinize sales at every store. So in this way, they can see what is being sold at every store, and they are able to produce more of the popular items. For the second questions, Zara recognized their success in the fashion world is based on simple rule, which is getting products to market quickly, which involves a clear and focused understanding of fashions, the ability to adapt quickly to trends, technologies in the market. So SWOT analyst is helpful to our business, especially to Inditex executives and also Zara store managers. By doing a SWOT analysis, the Inditex executives can study the opportunities for the company to grow and expand. Moreover, they can also study about the threats out to the company, like negative trends in the external environment. Additionally, an internal analysis strength of Zara is that stores are stocked with new designs twice a week, which is very quickly. So for the third questions, the competitive advantage Zara, that is lower prices than his competitors with better speed and flexibility in getting the product to the market. This is an advantage over competitors by offering consumers greater value by means of lower price and cutting-edge fashions. And for the questions 4, I strongly believe that Zara's success is due to internal factors. His staff ability to be so efficient that they can go from design to stone formed in only 2 weeks is huge. Zara employees are able to scrutinize sales and get almost instant feedback regarding which items are and aren't selling and adjust accordingly to that principle. And also their production factories just-in-time productions give them speed and flexibility over their competitors. And for the last questions, because Zara competitors are working to be faster, Zara has come up with new plans to stay ahead of the industry. So to maintain Zara's leading advantage, CEO of Zara introduced online retailing to Zara. The strategic implications that this move has is that they possibly have a way to send order directly to home in a quick fashion, because who would wait a long time to get clothing when they could get it at the store much quicker. So, moreover, online retailing would allow Zara to even get sales report quicker and to see which designs are hit and missed, because everything would be electronic and on the computer already. So this could also imply that they can send their design to places all over the world rather than being limited to just their physical store locations.
Case 2 is rewind and replay, and in this case we're going to talk about Netflix.
For the summary, and Netflix established in 1999, and from the beginning, Netflix's goal was to provide the most extensive and inclusive selection of DVD, and success ultimately attracts some competition. Other business want a piece of the market, and now Netflix did to Blockbuster, other competitors are doing to Netflix, and to counter the challenges, Hastings is focused the company's strength on a select number of initiatives, which are continuing to improve its programming, its personalization technology, and its market to attract new customers. And for the first question, Netflix's competitive strategy is using the factor of breadth of substitutes, and in order to compete with the other companies in the movie industry, The substitute in the movie industry that Netflix uses currently is the idea of streaming movies to television sets and devices with web capability such as iPad, computer, and media box devices. And by using only a streaming media service as its main way to attract users to join instead of going out to rent a movie or pay $9 for a cinema ticket. And the competitive advantages that Netflix has over its competitors are the company focused on one main service for the majority of its user base, which is the subscription for online media streaming. Netflix also allowed the entire company to flourish and try new things with the extra party income and that they now generate. And also the resources that Netflix have attained over a few years that it has been in business are staggering. They went from a little startup internet streaming service streaming online movies to a small user base and to millions upon millions of users all across the United States. And how will Netflix's functional strategy have to support its competitive strategy? In order to stay in the competition in the industry, Netflix must be able to improve the functional strategy. And the functional strategy of Netflix is making Netflix accessible to every demographic across the world. Overseas markets are a major source of untapped profit and potential. And by using that source is how Netflix stayed in business for many years. And another functional strategy of Netflix is making Netflix the superior streaming video service on the internet. And for the last question about the quality of streaming service that Netflix provides, I think it needs to be improved over time and stay up to date with all the new technology. And also, I think that Netflix must improve its catalog of movies and television shows that it provides more regularly to keep up with other streaming services such as Hulu and Amazon Prime. And by changing the movies that they provide, they are able to hold customer attention for longer periods of time and make a greater deal of profit.